The issue with The Crow is, it's okay, but kind of really bad. It's quite the achievement, and here's everything you need to know. The Crow 2024 is a gothic superhero film directed by Rupert Sanders with a screenplay by Zach Baylin and William Schneider. It's a reboot of the Crow film series and marks the 5th film in the franchise. Notably, this is the 2nd adaptation of the 1989 comic book series by James O'Barr, following the 1994 original film. This movie stars Bill Skarsgård as Eric Draven, a man who returns from the dead to avenge his and his girlfriend's death. FKA Twigs plays his girlfriend and is also one of the major downfalls of this movie. Before I go any further, I can definitely confirm with absolute certainty that the 1994 The Crow movie is far better than this movie, and that movie also kind of sucks. If Brendan Lee didn't die making that movie, it would have died in obscurity. However, I must say, if you watch it with the context of the early 90s in mind, it's okay. I was really looking forward to this movie, especially after seeing the trailer. It has Bill Skarsgård for crying out loud. He is practically fantastic in almost every movie he's ever done. But in this movie, he was absolutely dry, especially in contrast with Brendan Lee's performance. This was garbage. Where The Crow 1994 and the 2024 differ is some extremely gruesome scenes in the last half of the movie, which was pretty fun. So much gore, which I'm sure was put in there to redeem how boring the screenplay has been so far. The director of this film, Rupert Sanders, is on his way to have another major flop since his previous flop, which was Ghost in the Shell. By the way, I actually really liked Ghost in the Shell. I think the main issue with this director is his films look fantastic, but they lack substance and barely stick to landing. Look, I know no one sets out to make a bad movie, and that leads me to believe the studio heads probably meddled with this movie, limiting the director's creative freedom. Or maybe, just maybe, he kind of sucks. But I won't take away the fact that he did make Snow White and the Huntsman in 2012, and that was a financial success, so he has it in him to make something that doesn't suck as much. Even though it's technically been one thing, but it's one thing more than I have ever done. And with that said, here are the pros and cons, starting with cons. Con number 1. FKA Twigs absolutely underperformed in this movie. She for some reason came across like she has never acted before. Con number 2. The screenplay was boring and frankly shouldn't have been because it was co-written by Zach Baylin, who also wrote films like King Richard 2021, Creed 3 2023, Gran Turismo 2023, Bob Marley One Love 2024. He was also nominated for an Academy Award for the Best Original Screenplay for King Richard. I guess Zach's bailing on writing interesting things. I'll see myself out. Con number 3. Bill Skarsgård was also acting like he was forced to be in this movie to fulfill some kind of contractual obligation with Lionsgate, but he wasn't phoning it in, but it just seemed like he was doing a job. Just a job. Con number 4. In this movie, Eric the Crow Man was more of a juvenile delinquent, and he was sent to a co-ed juvie with the most relaxed security I've ever seen. It was technically more of a summer camp, and very unrealistic. The girls can just walk in and hang out with the boys in their prison rooms without any supervision whatsoever. I foresee a lot of pregnancies, or at least really great times. Con number 5. What's with the train station afterlife sequence? Is that some kind of weird purgatory? Is there supposed to be a metaphor that I am missing? Is that supposed to mean this film is on track to bomb? Con number 6. If Eric didn't become immortal after his death, he technically has no survival skills whatsoever. He was taking a lot of shots and stabs. I know it's consistent with the 1994 movie because the thing is, even though he's immortal, he can still feel pain and bleed. Why the hell would you keep running into the middle of sword fights and bullets? It makes no sense. Con number 7. He loses his immortality if he stops thinking about his girlfriend who died, and not to mention the fact they barely knew each other. They only met like a week ago. That doesn't make complete sense. Con number 8. The villain is extremely boring. His powers are basically just whispering into your ears. Okay, And now for the pros. Pro number 1. This movie is okay and very, well, it's watchable. Pro number 2. This movie looks really good, even though it's practically garbage. Pro number 3. The final act of this movie is a bloodbath and very unexpected and gruesomely awesome. And really disturbing as well. This is a warning. I'm gonna go ahead and rate this movie 3.5 out of 10 because it's not a good movie, but it's okay to watch. But sadly also a waste of time. I do not recommend this movie. Hell, I don't even recommend watching the original one. But if you must watch something Crow related, watch Russell Crowe in Gladiator. How good is Russell Crowe in Gladiator? So good. Go watch that. And that's my 2 cents. I really wanted this movie to be good. And I'm just as mad as you.